So this is an actual Animorphs PC game. And for those of you that don't remember what Animorphs was, in the 90s, it was a book series that was best-selling. It was targeted at preteens, teens, young adults, stuff like that, or at least that's what Scholastic was targeting it at. The thing is, though, is I'm actually a really big fan of this series, and here's why. It's actually got a really good storyline. It's not, you know, fucking War and Peace. It's not a Shakespearean classic, but it does have a really good storyline. But the main fault of the series is that it was targeted in terms of, like, publishing and in terms of where it was at in bookstores and in terms of, like, you know, marketing, stuff like that. As I said before, at mainly preteens and teens. But I'm not sure why this was, because the storylines in the Animorphs series as time goes on include gore all over the place. Every single book, like at least like 10 or 15 people die, like in bloodily executed ways. People die all the time, of course, in the series. There was genocide, both species and like in groups of people and stuff like that, like taking out entire towns of people. There was torture, both mental and physical. There was suicide. There was people who had been through war as the series went on and eventually turned absolutely fucking insane. Sacrificing your friends and family and humans, willingly killing your own family was in the series, like other humans willingly killing their own family members was in the series. Abuse, all this other stuff, and it's like, you know, I don't know why they targeted it towards that, and even more so, they tried to get it on Nickelodeon, which is even more of a mindfuck because it's like, the series was heavily sci-fi and involved like large alien spaceships, all this other stuff that, like, you know, would have cost millions of dollars in a budget, and yet they put it on Nickelodeon, you know? And then again, all the aforementioned things, they put it on Nickelodeon, when in, like, every book, people get killed left and right. Like, not, oh, Dragon Ball Z death, where you just fall to the ground in a, you know, clump. No, like, ripping people's fucking heads off, ripping their arms off, eating the dead bodies, throwing people off spaceships and watching them explode in space, killing, like, 30,000 people at once type shit. Like, I don't know why this was put on Nickelodeon. So, of course, they had to cut all that out, which made huge gaps in the storyline, which then threw the whole fucking series into complete assville. And then it didn't even make any sense, so obviously got canceled. And most people probably know the series through the Nickelodeon show, which is really sad. So, yeah. But anyways, they actually started reissuing the books recently. But that was my whole rant on that. If you like sci-fi stuff, and you like that genre at all, I do recommend you try and pick it up. It takes about 6 or 7 books to kind of really get started and really kind of, you know, get the train started, but it is actually, in my opinion, a good book series. So, take of that what you will. But anyways, they actually made a PC game for it, and unfortunately, the PC game is even worse than the Nickelodeon series by many, many factors. So, we're going to play it here because you know I love to play games that suck. So we're going to play it here, and you can see these amazing graphics. Now, granted, this game was probably made, I think, like in the 90s or like 2001 or something like that.
I know you're probably not used to talking to a hawk, but there's a bunch of things in
Oh, and this too. I have to get this out here. The main persecution this series suffers from, besides the stuff I guess all said, you know, that most people think it's like a little kid series and like people gets frolic in the bushes in the whole series and stuff like that, you know. Oh, by the way, too, it also has a thing where it constantly kind of like brings up stuff that actually happens in the real world and then comes up with like scientific conclusions for as to why that stuff happens or exists. And a lot of them are really kind of out there, like some sci-fi stuff, but some of it you can actually see the author thought of, and it actually like makes sense if you suspend your disbelief a little bit. So I thought that was neat. But anyways, the main persecution this series suffers from is the fact that people in it turn into animals. And you know what that means for 95% of people who immediately hear that is, OMG, if you like this series, you must love furries and you must love to fuck animals. That is not the case in my case for either case, and why I just said case there a lot. Case. So, no, I'm not a furry. If you want to do that stuff, that's fine by me, but I'm not a furry. I don't want to turn into an animal. I don't want to fuck animals. I don't want to be a furry or anything else like that. So let's just get that out there before we even start this game. So if anybody brings that up, there's my answer to it. I like this series because it's sci-fi, it had interesting plot lines, and it was just fucking good. I just liked it. So, suck a dick, fantastic. There you go.
My name is Tobias.
I'm just gonna shut up and let him explain
my
this.
last name or any of my friends' last names or where we live or our phone numbers or just about anything. I wish we could, but we can't. You see, you're probably like most people who look up at the stars at night and wonder what it would be like if creatures from another planet ever landed on Earth. Well, you can stop wondering. It really happened. Not so long ago, the Earth was invaded by an alien race.
Okay, you know what?
And their evil leader, Visser III.
Let's just
The
skip
Yeerks
this
take
shit.
control of- The first thing you'll need to do is get used to working with us. If you use the arrow keys on the keyboard,
Okay.
or take your control pad and press the direction key, you can take control of the group. Now, you can move all four characters
Marching in
to
place.
any place. If you hold down
Okay,
the left
shut
shift
the
key
fuck
on the
up,
keyboard,
Tobias.
or
Good lord.
press and hold the run button
I get
on
it.
the controller while moving, the group
On the
will
controller?
try moving
I'm not using a
around.
controller, I'm using a keyboard. This is the PC. What is the fucking run button?
Good. You can use the tab key
How
to
was that-
select a different player. Choose
How
the
was that
member
running?
you'd like and walk over to the key near the back corner
Why
of
is
the
there a
bar
key
and click the
by the
action
fucking barn? By the way, this is supposed to be an actual location in the books, and like, I'm just gonna say, this is just wrong. The whole thing is just bad. But anyways, for those of you that don't know the storyline, as he was saying, there's an alien race called the Yeerks that came down to the planet Earth and fucking decided to enslave the entire human race. And the way they do this is that if a Yeerk is basically near your head, it's a slug type thing with no ability to really see or anything else like that. It's basically, you can only do shit through like echolocation, etc. If it gets near your head, it can go inside your ear, it can flatten itself onto the canals of your brain and completely take over every single thing you do, and you have no more control over your body, no more control over anything you do, except your thoughts, which you cannot communicate to anybody else. So that is the whole premise of the series, is that anybody can basically be taken over by an alien, and there's no way whatsoever to know that they've been taken over by an alien, except for the fact that they have to go out and feed every 3 days, which is what a lot of the book revolves around, is trying to figure out who is a Yeerk and who is not. And as the book goes on, hiding their identities, keeping away from their families so their family doesn't get owned, blah, blah, blah. The main character's older brother is a Yeerk, which creates a lot of drama there. The other interesting thing is that as time actually goes on, the author actually made side books that explore the entire back history of both the Yeerks and all the other alien races involved in this. And it creates this gigantic, epic fucking drama and so forth. But of course, nobody ever gets to this because they read one book in the series, decide it's for furries, and then stop. So, and of course, the key is as big as Jake. And by the way, all the characters in this fucking game don't look anything like they do in the books, except for maybe Cassie. And that's about it. All the rest look pretty fucking different. Tobias, because he's a goddamn bird, and you can't really fuck that one up. So yeah, they decided to change the appearance like in every single form of media. Why can't I pick the fucking key up? What do I have to do to pick the key up? What do I have to do? Do I have to